Is the church obsolete? In this two-part series, we will be taking a look at the church in light of the cultural, social, and technological changes of today. Is the church obsolete? Wow. I was shocked at the words that reverberated through my mind and my heart. Somehow, I felt this was a significant and profound question for a man who'd given his life to the church as a pastor and a teacher for over 30 years. When I think of the word obsolete, my memory takes me back to the 8-track music player that I felt like I absolutely had to have in my first car as a teenager. A few of us still have a box or two of those old bulky tapes in our garage somewhere, but nothing to play them in. As a writer, I also remember my first manual typewriter and the accompanying bottle of whiteout for the spelling mistakes that I would inevitably find when I finished typing. Some people believe that the church, as we know it, is obsolete. They may have a fairly strong point. Today, we are living in an amazing age of advanced technology and communications. To drive home the point, consider the invention of the transistor a little less than 70 years ago. Of course, the transistor is a common component of most of our commonly taken for granted electronic items, from radios to telephones to sound systems, TVs, microwave ovens, computers, and so on. Transistors show up in places as diverse as airplanes, cars, broadcast stations, recording studios, remote controls, air conditioning, and so on. Yet that's just been in the last 70 years. In fact, technology has increased so fast that many people are alive today who were here before television, penicillin, digital watches, splitting the atom, dishwashers, clothes dryers, electronic blankets, and air conditioning. They would have never even heard of Big Macs, instant coffee, cordless keyboards, cellular phones, artificial hearts, RAM, megabytes, hard drives, software, or word processors. Of course, nothing takes God by surprise. Thousands of years ago, the Lord spoke to the prophet Daniel of these days. He said, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." This shift that we are in surpasses the transition from agricultural to industrial and industrial to technological. It is historic. Our past experiences and our current knowledge may not be adequate in this new age of communications. The church is in major transition as well. Most people know that the church, as it has been, is neither satisfactory to God nor adequate to the task before us in these closing days of this present dispensation. World population is presenting the possibility for a larger harvest of souls than has even been seen in the cumulative total of the previous 2,000 years. Meanwhile, the question that begs to be asked is, are we trying to package a timeless message in an outdated methodology? Consider that we only crossed over our first billion in population less than 150 years ago, and now there are over 7 billion people on planet Earth. An amazing population growth statistic tells us that there are more people who've been born within the last 100 years than in the past 2,000 years combined. And prior to the 20th century, the fastest man had ever traveled was 35 miles per hour. Advances in technology, communications, travel, education, and social media are compelling us to rethink our entire approach to spreading the gospel and the way we do church. The challenge before the church is how to preserve and propagate an eternal and universal message in the context of a rapidly shifting civilization. So let's further explore the church in relation to advances in communication and information technology, the social networking phenomena, and other factors as we consider the question, is the church obsolete? Next, let's look at the church and information technology. A recent survey revealed that 42% of the people surveyed agree or strongly agree that we are approaching an entirely new age that will radically change our view of science, spiritual knowledge, or humanity. The scripture I mentioned before from Daniel said, the time of the end and knowledge shall be increased. It's estimated that a week's worth of the New York Times contains more information than a person was likely to come across in a lifetime in the 18th century. It is estimated that 4 exabytes, that's 4.0 times 10 to the 19th power, of unique information will be generated this year. That is more than the previous 5,000 years. The amount of technological information is doubling every 2 years. For students starting a 4-year technical degree, that means half of what they learn in their first year of study will be outdated by their 3rd year of study. So life as we know it is changing faster than most people can comprehend. The top 10 demand jobs in 2010 did not even exist in 2004. We are currently preparing students for jobs that don't yet exist, using technologies that haven't been invented to solve problems we don't even know are problems yet. They expect that by the year 2013, it is expected that a supercomputer will be built that exceeds the computational capabilities of the human brain. Predictions are that by 2049, a $1,000 computer will exceed the computational capacities of the entire human species. Now, combining computer technology with the internet has increased our capability to access knowledge at a dizzying speed. There are over 31 billion searches on Google every month. In 2006, it was 2.7 billion. YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine in the world with over 100 million videos. Wiki is the Hawaiian term for quick. Wikipedia, a web-based encyclopedia that is now relatively new entry into the world of encyclopedias, has over 15 million articles, and studies show it's more accurate than Encyclopedia Britannica. How is all this impacting our church culture? The days of giving a good sermon and expecting the building to fill are over. Yes, there are a few megachurches, as seen on television, but most people don't realize those very visible megachurches make up only 1% of the churches in America. The fact is, people don't come to church as often as they used to. Many sincerely committed people only attend Sunday services twice a month, some less. Consider this. The typical Christian hears an average of 7 different preachers or teachers in any given week. Religious issues pollster George Barna pointed out that close to 25%, or 1 in 4 adults in America, downloaded a church podcast in the last week. Barna refers to a group of believers he calls blenders, who look for multiple sources of inspiration input into their lives. He further points out that there is a certain segment of Americans who are currently leaving churches precisely because they want more of God in their life, but cannot get what they need from a local church. More and more sincere Christians are taking this more eclectic approach to feeding their spiritual appetites. Now, this can stress out local pastors, tempting them to become more legalistic in demands, or they can seek wisdom in this transition. Gone are the days when a pastor can think he or she has primary control over the spiritual influence of their parishioners. Leaders must learn to function with an open hand, realizing that the world is at the fingertips of everyone. It's becoming obvious that the church must embrace and fully use the technology of the future if it wants to avoid obsolescence. It's my opinion that we need a fresh examination of the scripture for that which is universal and timeless, but can be pragmatically applied to this present hour. The church must find its relevancy not in what we know, but in what we do. Are we demonstrating the love of God and the power of God? We need 21st century methodologies rooted in the universal and eternal truths of Scripture to stay relevant in these exceptional times.